Welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast, your home for inspiring conversations with outdoor insiders. Each week, author, speaker, adventurer, and outdoor industry veteran Rick Saez talks in depth with iconic brand founders, sales and marketing pros, product designers, and industry rising stars. Listen in when Rick's guests offer actionable advice to land your ideal industry gig and grow your outdoor career. Catch us again when the conversation shifts to the hottest outdoor products, destinations, and the latest industry insights. And now, here's Rick.
Welcome to episode 302 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast with four-wheel camper ambassador and Seven Seas industry founder Chris Hollingsworth. If you want to host an athletic event, build corporate kinship, raise money and awareness for your cause, anything is possible when you partner with Seven Seas Industries. Chris is here to tell us all about how they deliver on that while traveling and living in their four-wheel camper rig. Welcome to the show, Chris.
All right, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, good to have you on, man. How's it going up there today? You said you were making socks?
Yeah, making socks. We switched from just a marketing event production company, and now we needed a pivot since, events with COVID were kind of put on hold for a while.
Yeah.
And we launched a sock brand. So kind of a long story short, yeah, we were fishing anglers on the side, and promised my sweet wife, hey, we'll just have like 3 different species of bass. And now we have over 60 different fish socks. We've got disc golf socks. We've got all kinds of things. So lots of fun.
Wow. Good for you. Not to dig too deep into that right now, but where do you sell them?
We sell them all over. We have online. We own fishsocksusa.com, T-Box socks. Yeah, we've got websites. We actually supply different stores around the nation. We just have a new Canadian distributor of the disc golf socks. And then we do a lot of marketing. Because of the event background, the outdoor industry, we make socks for other companies. So, yeah, the H&H Fresh Fish in Santa Cruz has our socks.
Yeah.
Pescavore, their sustainable seafood, we're making socks for them. So, yeah, our socks are kind of all over the place.
All over the place. I've probably seen them somewhere before.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
So how were you introduced to the outdoors?
Outdoors has been a part of my life pretty much since the beginning. I was thinking about the history. I don't know. I think there were some books that kind of caught my eye. I've always liked the Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, the adventure idea. My dad kind of took me on a trip. Instead of my 8th grade graduation, we left and went to Oregon to go fishing, which was kind of random. Mm-hmm. And while all my friends were at school graduating, we went to Kmart and I bought a how to fly fish manual and a rod. And I taught myself how to fly fish on the Deschutes River. And then a stepdad, his father was he managed a duck club. So I'd go bass fishing and got into skateboarding and became kind of a semi-pro snowboarder. Just, I never stopped playing and I've never grown up. So I think that's been a curse as well as something that's blessed my life. So it's been good.
Hear you. I hear you. I'm the same way from the get-go, just outside. There's no way I'd ever have a corporate job.
No, I make socks and I'm barefoot. I'm outside. We're dirty, goofing off, doing something fun all day long. So that's kind of the plan. Yeah,
right
that's
on.
Good.
Very cool. So tell us about Seven Seas Industries. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so we're an event production company. So a lot of the big nonprofits we've worked with for the last 17 years, some of the names would be like Susan G. Komen, the Race for the Cure. We produced that race in 6 different cities. Leukemia Lymphoma Walks, the Light the Night events that happen. We actually own the Sacramento Santa Run, where everyone gets a Santa suit, milk and cookies at the finish line.
Fun.
Tons of fun. So they're always about these opportunities to do some philanthropy, but at the same time, true sport endeavors. So I've announced the Santa Cruz Ironman half marathon. So my passion is the water and surfing and paddleboarding. So the Santa Cruz Paddle Fest, they actually ride the waves at Steamer Lane. The longest flat water paddle race was the first event we actually did again this year.
Wow. Is
up at Lake Tahoe, the Tahoe Nalu. So we produce events from start to finish. We help marketing, promotion. We do a lot of the online stuff behind the scenes, helping with registration. And then we own event equipment. So we show up and we have tents and sound systems, and I get to announce the event at a lot of these. And it's so much fun to see the athletes, the families come together. And at the same time, if you can raise some money for a good cause, it's kind of icing on the cake. So
it's got to be fun and rewarding. Yeah,
it's really good.
So how did you get started in that? I mean, you guys, let me back up a little bit. You have all the equipment and everything. So if somebody wants to just do an event, had never done it before, they call you, say, let's do this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the real story, this is the crazy part. I was a plumbing contractor / snowboarder, became a golf pro.
I'm going to ask about that.
I was teaching golf lessons to a gentleman who owned the San Jose International Triathlon. I came on as his co-race director. started doing a lot of the marketing, from understanding marketing and promotions and sponsorships as an athlete. We started doing events together. And from there, we just partnered and we just started doing a ton of events all over California and traveled all over the place. I've been up to Canada. I worked with a gentleman that owned the wine country runs before that was really a thing. And so destination races was really big. We'd go all over Healdsburg and Napa. And so we've kind of seen the event industry blossom, and I was a part of that, which is really fantastic. So yeah, I was teaching a guy how to play golf and lucked into this position and then started my own event business and it went from there.
You never know. So you probably don't have to do much marketing either, because you guys do such a good job. It's got to be a lot of word of mouth referrals.
It was word of mouth, and I personally never marketed or asked anyone for an event. So we put on an event, and like you said, somebody would call and say, hey, we have this event idea. Marin County Triathlon is a good example. The gentleman that owned it started Sustainable Sports, had never done an event. So we did the event for 12 years, the Marin County Triathlon, Marin County Half Marathon. We put on the June Lake Triathlon for about 8 years. And so we're pretty much anything outside with the logistics. It's the behind the scenes. I get the tease. I'm certified to collect trash in San Francisco. So all the random things that you wouldn't think of being outside,
right?
We work with the guardsmen down there and put on the Presidio 10. So we coordinate kind of closing the walk pass on the Golden Gate Bridge. There's about 6 different jurisdictional agencies you have to get permits with. And then you can't put a trash can without a recycling can and a composting container. So all the little things behind the scenes, it's really cool. And then we try to do our part. We've put on the greenest triathlon in the world. It was audited, and we know how to offset trash. And we bring in solar panels for the power needs. And so we've done some really creative things over the last 15 years.
You must know all the crazy intricacies of the rules and regs in all the different cities and counties too, right? I mean, that's got to be, you must have some Bibles of that stuff in your...
The stuff you would never want to know.
I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Craziness.
That's the nightmares. You learn in this industry if you want to get involved. You just have a notepad next to your bed, because when you wake up, you're like, oh, what's the cone schedule of this section? And did I give the neighborhood notification letters out early enough? And so all those little things. Crazy. You just got to take a little note and then go back to bed. So it's all good.
Yeah, that's good. You must have crazy lists. What has been the most rewarding event for you guys?
It's hard to pinpoint. I'll tell you, from the behind the scenes, when you're standing on a stage and you're interviewing a mother and she's talking about whether it's medicine or some kind of treatment that's happened with her child that she truly feels has prolonged the life of their child. I don't know if you can top that. Yeah. That's one of those things that, like, as the person announcing, you keep sunglasses handy. I'll tell you, one time, as a gentleman came and he was doing the Santa Cruz Half Marathon with his wife, and they got to the finish line, and the finish line had about 200 yards of sand. So the difference was they were running together for the first time. The wife was going to do her first half marathon. They came over and talked to me the day before. So there was a little glitch in it. He was in a wheelchair. Ooh. And I said, hey, buddy, I got you. I ran over and grabbed this gentleman. I just had him get on my back, and I carried him across. It was awesome. I carried him across the finish line, and, like, tell me to hold the tears back from that. There's no chance. So here I'm the announcer. They finished their first race together. I sat him down in a chair across the finish line, and just like a crying little baby over there. So, you can't, every event has a reason. There's always somebody that's doing the event, whether it's just a paddleboard race, they're doing it to honor their past relative, or they're fighting some kind of disease or some reason. Just the emotional connection with all the people, all the reasons. It's so rewarding to just see people that probably shouldn't be out participating. It's no disrespect to the professional athletes, but I'm like, this is easy for them. This is their job.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They train every day.
Not to give them a discredit or disservice. It's like, I don't care about you folks. I always tease them on, and then we have a good rapport. But the people that are doing these things for the first time are really physically challenging. Disabled Sports in Eastern Sierra is up the June Lake Triathlon.
Kathy Copeland. I lived next door to her for a while.
So, it's like when you have children that they have no functioning use of their legs. Yep. And they do the kids triathlon, like, come on, like that's pretty remarkable. So I guess in all of it, it's such an emotional connection to the outdoors that I have. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty powerful. Yeah, very moving. Yeah. Is there any event that's posed some other ultra unique challenges? I know every city has different, like you say, all the recycle bins and things is pretty challenging. I had to learn. I actually had to go to a certification class to collect trash, so that I'm certified. So
that's been unique. I don't know. Every event kind of has its own little glitch, and whether it's a local neighborhood that doesn't want you there. At the beginning of all the events when this happened, it was really cool because we could put heads in beds in hotels, and it was really great. And every city is like, oh, come here. There's so many events every weekend. Now you have to give cause and reason of why you're there, and understand there's so many events, we become a hindrance and a problem in the neighborhoods. And so really doing our
traffic
outreach
all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, it's like traffic and closing roads and different things. And for me, it's like, I don't want to stop the public from having access to their park for their family picnic or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of that. It's just the communication and going to the public meetings. And now there's true public hearings where you have to go and you present the event to get approval for it. So it's been interesting to see how to make sure that we play nice in the neighborhood. And you just got to do your part to make sure that it's really impactful. And that's always a question people, they'll call, hey, I want to do this event. And it's like, why? What's the reason? And and honestly, if it's just about money, I tell everyone, just go do something else. You know, it's this being outdoors and connecting people to nature and doing things. It's got to be more about connecting people and having that storyline. There's just a lot of easier ways to just make money. Events really, that's not the end game for that. It can be used for great fundraisers, but that's when you actually ask people to donate money. That's that piece. The events, we have a saying we always use is like, your entry fee gets us to the start line. Your donation gets us to the finish line.
I like it.
The events cost so much to put on. And at first the police would help you out and they would show up. And then now it's like, no, you're paying sergeant fees for every officer. You know, the events it's a pretty special thing to be involved in, because at the end, you've really brought a community together. That civic pride and people that have this outdoor experience, they're going to remember that forever. And so it's pretty neat to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'll bet they've all got to be rewarding in some way, because you do get to pull the community together. You also get to pull the community together without disrupting people that don't want to be involved. So there's a lot of angles to it. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, pick and choose. I mean, we've had, like, obviously inclement weather. We've had nightmares. We've had people. One was a triathlon at the ocean, and the one gentleman checked in and he decided to go back to his hotel room and he quit. And he hung his wetsuit up in his hotel room and didn't let us know. So, of course, Coast Guard comes out. We're searching for his body for the next 6 hours. Jeez. And we finally got back to his hotel room, found a friend, and saw that he'd gone on a run. So we're like, thank you so much. So having those backup plans and inclement weather and understanding that a lot of things we're not really in control of, and we just have to do our part to have a plan of action. And that's really what it comes up to.
Yeah.
You know, just being prepared.
So you mentioned earlier you were an assistant golf pro for a couple of years. How'd you get into that? How'd that manifest?
So that was, I can blame that on my father.
Okay.
Growing up, being a skateboard punk and a snowboarder, and he's always like, when are you going to do a real man sport? So we played golf and teased him. And then I gave myself 6 weeks. I shot even par. I took the player's ability test and got into the PGA and kind of did it on a whim. I was taking a break as a plumbing contractor. I've had about 6 or 7 lives. I say I age like a dog. And I have 6 kids and been married for 30 years. And I do a lot of different things. And so it's just all of a sudden I became a golf pro. Luckily, the local golf course near my house it's Winchester Country Club, and it was rated the 13th best course in the nation the year it opened.
Wow.
And I lucked into that as the assistant pro. There were no homes, nothing. So we kind of hung out and played golf a whole lot.
Nice.
And then got through some training there. It was through one of the Disney executives, and it was We Work, Way Others Play. And the whole program was called Above and Beyond. And that really helped me understand the event industry and the service. And I actually started to be involved in the tournament production and behind the scenes clinics. And so all these little things of being a daily service plumber, of taking care of people's needs and understanding that, putting on golf events, the ladies clinics, and understanding the catering and the nice experience.
The back of the house, so to speak.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden this guy comes up and I'm teaching him lessons, and he's like, you should be my tournament director at my events. And I'm like, what do you mean? So then we started doing marketing and discussing it. And that's how that evolution happened. But I believe everything in life kind of comes around for a reason. And so I was better educated, and similar thing with the socks because of the background. And I would host these events with expos of 25, 30 different businesses that need to promote their business. And so that's with the sock business. I can find a reason why any business should have some socks. And so I can artistically, like, hey, check this out. We can do some really neat, planned socks with a visual presentation of their logo or their product. So it's kind of a crossover of the same kind of stuff
we'll have
that
to
I've always
figure
done.
out why a podcast needs socks.
You need some socks with your face. You got the radio, so now people don't know who you are. We'll get
That's why I'm behind the mic. That's why I'm the video.
That's why I tease. I know the face for radio. That's what it's always about. Well, okay, we can put whatever you want on the socks. So
that'd be
it's
funny.
all good.
That'd be fun. So you also work with four-wheel campers. What do you do with those guys?
I do. So this was the whole, like, the cream of the crop. It all came together. We became kind of side back, and it's kind of hard to call yourself a professional angler, but we kind of became professional anglers. We're on pro staff with a bunch of people, and we participate in kayak bass fishing events. So I was announcing those. We were setting them up, driving to these events. Obviously, the big events that we're putting on, I have to sleep at the events. Some I do security. I have a big box trailer, and I'm towing this 28-foot box trailer. But I always see all my friends at these paddle races and everywhere else in sprinter vans. And I was so jealous. It's like they just sleep in their sprinter van. They're right at the event site. All the paddleboarders would wake up in the morning, and I'd have to like scramble from a hotel or somewhere or pitch a tent at the event site. Four-wheel campers, my wife and I did a photo shoot with them and worked with them. They have this new product. It's called the Project M. And it basically clamps exactly like a normal camper shell. You still have the full use of your truck bed. And it's a pop top that's 6 feet 7 inches, and I'm 6'5". So any camper I can stand up in, it's like a dream come true. So on the back of my truck, under 500 pounds, I have an organic queen mattress in my truck that's up above the cab. So we work with Sage Sleep Organics, a bedding company. So I have a bed that's just as luxurious as my home bed, and it's on site with me at all my events.
That's awesome.
So I can sleep at the events. I can still use the truck to deliver water for the aid stations or tow around my kayak or tow the huge trailer. And it's just been a dream come true. I can honestly say we were always teasing, like, I need a side order of like a sprinter van with like the truck. We didn't know what we were going to do because we're driving around, and I have to have this big 1-ton truck to tow the trailer. And now my camper, through COVID, it's just been the most phenomenal thing for our family. So
it's got to be a comfortable place to crash too, because it's kind of like home, right?
It's home. My wife loves to decorate. I mean, she's just awesome with these things. So we've got like throw pillows in the camper, and the bedding's all nice. We have a shag rug on the floor. So during COVID, when the restaurants are closed and everyone, I always tease, like, you're ruining the interior of your car. Your car smells so bad. I guarantee every person has like French fries in the console. We would get food and hop in the back of the camper and pop it up. We have a table back there. So we're like our on-road restaurant.
That's awesome.
So it was crazy. And then, I mean, of course, having a daughter. So I got the 6 kids, and our youngest is a little girl. There were no restrooms were open. So we brought her. We have a luggable loo. We have a bathroom in the back of the camper. So at any point, anywhere, at any time, I can pop my camper up. There's 6 clips. It's 3 minutes. And literally it's spring assisted with shocks. The camper top goes up. So any parking lot, we've got a house. Like you said, it's home on wheels anywhere. So four-wheel camper's been awesome. They custom design each unit directly for the vehicle it's made for. Their slide-in units are like beyond incredible. They have some where you actually take the bed off your truck. And so they replace it with a flatbed and put the units on top of them. And I think I tease with my wife, I was ruined by like the 80s surf videos of mostly Australian surf videos in the 80s and early 90s.
Yeah.
Just the all outdoor traveling. And so for years we drove down into Baja, and my wife, on one of our trips, so 6 years in a row, we were in a head-on collision in our 1-ton van.
Whoa.
So we were on the way to make this big van and do the 4-wheel drive system in it, and we got in a big crash. And we rented a van and continued to go. We didn't know that her wrist was broken and my ribs were broken.
Ooh.
The kids were all fine, and we're like, what the heck? Let's just keep going to Baja. With that mentality and wanting like a self-contained unit, this camper has just been phenomenal for us.
They're pretty
absolutely
awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, I was out there a couple of weeks ago, met Dan and took a tour of the place, and they're good quality too. He was telling me about some guy who rolled his rig, and the camper saved his life because it kept from crushing. Just, it was amazing.
I guarantee it. I mean, it's aluminum. It's like an aircraft, 1-inch aluminum inside of these things, and it's pretty bulletproof. They came out in 1972, and I swear across the street from my in-laws is one from probably 1972. And it's got the old corrugated walls on it, and it's still fine. So they are pretty indestructible. And for us, it's been really neat here in Northern California because we've had wildfires like crazy. And we were under the evacuation order at one point. And my friends are kind of scrambling. They want to go in because we live in a community where you can't actually park your trailer at your house.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we live on a golf course and there's the lake across the street you fish at, but it's all so nice to be here, but you physically can't store your own travel trailers at your house. My bug out vehicle or my evacuation vehicle is ready 24/7 parked in front of my house. So it's just those extra comforts to have this thing. Like I laugh because we went on an RV trip and there's something special about just the family camping at whim wherever you want. Yeah. This thing, like try to drive an RV and park it in the city. Try to park one of those even nowadays shopping and you're parking like 3 or 4 blocks away. My truck parks anywhere. And we literally have our RV on the back. So it's been so awesome. It's like a year and a half now. I can't imagine life prior. And now I'm forever. I'm like, well, I guess I can never be without one.
It's amazing how many people in Bishop have them. I mean, there must be 15 of them here in Bishop. I mean,
I guarantee you. And the thing is you talk to people, they never sell them.
Yeah.
They just keep them forever. And I'm just like, I guess I have to buy the same truck and just transfer this thing over. So we'll see. It's awesome. So we're loving this thing.
Yeah, pretty cool. So do you take that around to all your events? Every event. That's your rig.
Yeah, it's my rig. It has my fishing sponsors on the side of it, and everybody sees me wherever I go. And it's funny now because having my wife, she's just a lot prettier than me, so she has a lot more followers on Instagram, and she's pretty famous in the fishing world. And so people start to see us and recognize us, and we'll get stopped at the gas station. And I tell everyone, like, let me know, like, I'll show you this thing. Like, I want people to have the same experiences. And I think it's part of that whole event lifestyle. If something works good in our family, and I always tease, like having all the ingredients for a successful outdoor adventure, the 4-wheel camper is such a necessity in my mind now. Yeah. It's got to be convenient, or else it's just so hard to accomplish things because I think we all wear that badge of being busy, and it's hard to accomplish all the things we want.
Well, and and those of us that are active and do a lot of different things, there's nothing worse than futzing with your equipment, whatever it is. Your camper or your fly rod. I mean, if you're messing with something, you're not doing the activity.
I tell you, I have friends because we rode motocross for a while, and it's just all these different things. When you got to load for a day to go play for a day and then come home and clean up for another day or two,
right?
You got 3 or 4 days of loading and cleaning, and you got to mess around and have a good time for one. It's like, forget that. So we try to keep our truck event and play ready. And that's like my kayak in my driveway is sticking out of the back. I have my tailgate down and I have my kayak. It's already in my truck at all times. I just drive it over and throw it in the lake. So
there you go. Perfect. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. They're good guys. What's your experience been working with them? They seem like fantastic guys. I mean, Dan is awesome and everybody I met there is great.
Yeah, talking to Dan and having him come out. They had some staff come out on a road trip. We met him at a lake. We did a fun photo shoot with him. I went down and met Dan at the facility. All the workers are super cordial, great people, like true craftsmen, which is really neat to watch them work. And they love what they do. I went there to pick my unit up, and you walk in and there's like a waiting area. It's like a lounge. You're hanging out. So I can't say enough nice things about them. I know that right now they have a waiting list, which was, I'll just tell you, if somebody's wondering about it, it's worth it. If you're interested in these things, check them out. They have the coolest area that you can walk through all their different models inside. And they may be sold out. I don't even know what they have in there now.
Go get on the list. I mean, that's what Dan was telling me.
It's just incredible. Get on the list. Go and find out. You could, if they're close to me, they can check out my rig because it's fully customizable. Ours is, it's just a basic, like a utilitarian unit. It pops up. It's got the 4 windows. You can get some cross flow ventilation. Yeah. It's just so simple. And then you can put whatever you want inside the back of it. But yeah, you can build them out. They've got refrigerators, toilets, they've got stoves. They got everything you'd ever want in any kind of RV. And it literally is on the back of your pickup truck.
Exactly. So that's the beauty of it, I think, because, I was talking to Jonathan Segrist, a climber who's also with 4-wheel campers, and he's out camping all the time, and he swapped out from a Subaru, and he says, yeah, the Subaru was great, but I was living outside. In the camper, I don't have to live outside when the weather's bad. I can go live inside and still, be outside, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
It's 100%. When you're out in the element, you truly take yourself out of the elements. I was a scoutmaster for like 15 years with my older boys, and when you're out in the elements and you just have to bring so much extra gear, you get inside the camper, you shut the door. I turn on my little Mr. Heater portable heater.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the wind goes away.
It's kind of embarrassing. You kind of don't want to tell anybody, but it's like your friends are camping at these fishing events and they're freezing and the wind's blowing and you're like, yeah, I hope you have a good night's sleep. And then you crawl inside your four-wheel camper and you're like, I'm just going to watch some television real quick.
Exactly.
So,
Catch the latest sports. And
it's pretty nice.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So I usually ask people what other outdoor activities they participate in. I should probably ask you, what don't you do? You do everything, sounds like.
I don't even know how to answer what I do would take too long. I tell you, with the family, growing up through high school, snowboarding, that was a big activity. My high school sweetheart turned into my wife, and she's done everything right along with me. Having 5 older boys, our oldest started to raise huskies and dog sled.
Cool. Wow.
And so I've always been a fan of just staying active with the kids. So we got into motocross. I was a whitewater kayaker, and I'm super competitive about whatever I do. So we had the golf. My wife grew up playing tennis. So I played tennis in high school. Her dad was a tennis pro. We now shoot a lot of archery, and it's just kind of anything outside that we did. We serious rock climbing for a long time. As people mention things, it's like when they ask me if I want to go do something, I just say yes. My youngest son's 13, just turned 14, and he is really into disc golf. We're like, let's play disc golf. And so we got heavily into disc golf. That kind of circumvented into this whole disc golf socks and supporting the local events. And because of my event background, we make like the players pack socks for a lot of the events.
Cool. Yeah.
And understanding marketing. I go down on Friday night. We have our weeklies at our local course, and I go play with my son, and we donate prizes for the winners.
Wow, awesome.
And we just love to be outside. We're ambassadors for Puakea Outriggers. So we paddle outriggers a lot. We paddle. I started bass fishing really on paddle boards, which is, I was fly fishing, turned into bass fishing. I was at a tournament in the Delta, and one of the reps was there, and he's like, hey, they make kayaks. You can actually sit down and pedal with your feet. You don't have to use a paddle. I've been on those. Yeah. So I went over and borrowed one and never gave it back. And so I'm like, this is way easier than using a paddle. And so we just like to be outside. The honest answer is I would do anything that gets me outside with my family, having fun. The risk and reward, I love to surf. That's one of my huge passions. And I would prefer to ride waves that my daughter really doesn't want to ride. And so that's this whole thing of the evolution of now having grandkids. I can't find anything that's better than fishing to do right next to a grandchild. Me trying to fish as hard or as competitive as I want. He can be using a bobber with some worms.
Yep, he can be using a Mickey Mouse rod and reel. Yep,
yeah, I mean, it's perfect. We can be side by side having the best experience together, and fishing's really afforded that opportunity. So it's just one of those things that, it's full evolution. I will never stop doing any activity. Yeah. And then with the family and staying as active as they are. My goal is to just stay healthy enough to be able to participate with the things my family likes to do.
We're going to take a little break and give some love to our sponsor, 4-Wheel Campers. Since 1972, 4-Wheel Camper customers have enjoyed enough twists and turns to fulfill many a grand adventure. They know that navigating challenging terrain requires a vehicle that is mega durable, ultra lightweight, wicked nimble, and super comfortable. Their pop-up campers with a wide range of options and prices check all the boxes. To meet the needs of every adventurer, they offer pop-up campers in flatbed, slide-in, or topper platforms. They're made near Sacramento and fit most trucks. Here's a quick note from Dan Welty, 4-Wheel Campers Vice President.
Give us a shout and we can talk trucks, campers, and adventures. And please check us out on 4wheelcampers.com and visit a showroom in your area.
And now, back to the show. Did you watch Wide World of Sports growing up?
Of course,
ABC? Okay, see, I think...
The guy, the ski jump guy backflipping.
The guy crashing in the Olympics. Yeah, so I think all of us that grew up in that era that watched that TV show do all the things. Because we got exposed to all the things on TV. I want to go try that. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. We're jumping our bicycles and skateboards and stuff when we were kids. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's awesome.
It's like you want to be an adrenaline junkie, but it's like this whole X Games era kind of thing. But really, it's more than that, because whether it's Marlon Perkins and aging myself, whether it's a crocodile hunter, whatever you want to say, being outside, being connected to other people as well as nature at the same time. I guess if that was the Kool-Aid that I drank when I was young, I'll drink it again.
I think that's it. Yeah, and it's all the things. It's not any. It's just all the things. Like you say, from fishing to cycling to whatever. all the things.
It's fun to announce events because I can tease anybody, and it's kind of like the 5-hour to 7-hour Chris's comedy show. If somebody likes to pretend that they're better or cooler because of their sport that they do, I don't appreciate that. And it's like, even when you're playing in the NBA, you've just played basketball your whole life. And granted, you make millions of dollars.
No, you're damn good at it, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you're not any better at life than anyone else compared to a person throwing a Frisbee in a park or having fun. So it's like, once people realize that, we can all appreciate what everyone's doing and what they've developed a skill at. It's just, it's about having a good time together.
That's it. That's the end of the day. That's what it's all about. Yep. I'm with you. So where's your next adventure? What are you doing?
We're making socks where there's a national championship that's going on. We're sending some socks to our retailers. For us, it's next year. Seriously, I want to get more serious about the kayak bass fishing. So what I've done with the events, and I've really got to take a hard look of where the events are going to go for next year. Most of them still haven't come back. We want to outfit the box trailer with our kayaks and then go on site, be able to pre-fish, camp, and kind of tell that whole story of what kayak bass fishing has become.
Oh, cool.
And that's the reality, is not everyone can go out and afford a $100,000 bass boat.
Right.
And you don't need it. Whether you go and bass fish or you go out in the ocean, we love to dive. Unfortunately, California shut down the abalone diving on us. But to go and to camp and to recreate and then to source some food and to do those different things, I think there's a whole narrative to maybe tell that story. So try to broaden our social media outreach, dabble in the YouTube a little bit, but really, focus on some of the tournament series and just kind of see what we can do with some of the kayak bass fishing stuff for next year. So
I see a lot of YouTube stuff and TV stuff in your future. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
Really good.
Do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get into the event business?
Yeah, I tell you, just go and volunteer. I mean, that's the honest side of it. Is we always struggle with trying to find good volunteers. And once you volunteer, and I can tell you from an event owner and an event producer standpoint, if you're good enough to get paid, and I'm going to probably pay you if you show up and give you a bunch of free swag or whatever, if you're a valuable volunteer, you're going to know if you like it. And I'll tell you right now, if you like sleep, do not get in the event industry. If your idea is maybe going with a carnival and traveling around and putting up tents and then cleaning up everybody's trash and not being too mad that most people are earth pigs, then that's kind of the tease that it's just this reality of going around and you meet so many different personalities, and you have the type A super focused athletes. You have the people that are there for their first time. Everyone's out for a different reason. If you can just find an ability to see what's common with people and to understand, my tagline of my business is making the world a better place, one event at a time. And that's what you really start to feel. If you can volunteer and get involved, if you've got a cause, there's got to be an event for your cause. Right. And that's the beauty, is I got the opportunity to be involved in pretty much every cause out there. And so it's like, I'm sending some socks. I just got a sponsorship package. It's like Tunas and Tiaras. It's an all ladies tuna fishing event over in Maryland. Yeah. And so like this female empowerment, it's been so fun to see the evolution of sports. More women now participate in marathons than men. And it's like, women are like ruling the world. And it's like, we're finally, I love this thing. There was the whole campaign of like, throw like a girl. Well, what does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean? Like, I'm so supportive of that, to see women and youth and young ladies empowered. That's why I like fishing as well, is the fish don't know what gender's on the other side of the line. Yeah. And it's like, let's just really embrace what's going on and find things. So if you're a person that thinks they like the outdoors, they think they like sports and managing and organizing, and you're not afraid to pick up a whole bunch of trash when the day's done, then the event business, it's definitely something to take a look at. And like I said, volunteering you're good at. It's an answer. It's an easy avenue to just say, hey, I want to go and help.
Yeah, that's a good way. A lot of people recommend that for a lot of different things. You can test drive it, see if you like it, and if you don't, you can try the next thing. Just keep volunteering until you find something you love. And
don't be discouraged, because you can go to an event that's super unorganized and it can be a nightmare, and you might get stuck doing a job that's terrible. And when you're a volunteer, it's like if you're standing at an aid station handing out cups of water, and that seems boring, but man, if you're handing out cups of water and you're having a good time and you're cheering people on and you're getting there's so many ways to make life fun, no matter what job it is. If you're that type of person that can find some joy and humor in splashing water on people as they run by, then you should probably be involved in events, because it can be a ton of fun.
Yeah, blast. Yeah. Do Do you have any daily routines you use to keep your sanity? You meditate? You get a lot of exercise.
I have no sanity. I think that's probably my daily routine is to wake up and just, we still have two youngsters at the house, and, 11-year-old and a 14-year-old. We're busy. Yeah. I tease because I have a son that is like Mr. Fitness and does his taekwondo and all of his training. So I kind of sneak workout, I like to call it. So I do have a little routine to at least try to stay where I tease because it's like I have a dad bod. My sister-in-law, I like to now call it the father figure.
There you go.
But
I like it.
You gotta stay flexible and pliable. And I can tell you, just going in kayak fishing, we had a local derby here the other day, and I was fishing for 5 hours in the water, pedaling nonstop in my kayak.
Wow.
And so, if you're just out staying active and doing stuff and staying healthy, I don't have a strict routine because our new business, it's so up in the air. We just...
Well, you don't need one. It sounds like you get a lot of stuff and you're just what you do every day, right? I don't think you need a routine. If your routine is your daily job, I mean, that keeps you fit.
I'm a spaz. Like, as you can tell, as we're talking, I could talk all day. And it's like, generally I'll have a ear set in and I'm making socks and I'm packaging up an order. I'm doing, 4 or 5 things. And at the same time, I'm keeping an eye on the wind to see if the wind's changing. And if should I go across the street? Cause there's a little pond over there. I know when the fishing gets really good in the evening. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah, no, it's fun to try to stay. Again, it's staying active for me. I can't sit still and stay idle. And it's just one of those things. I get excited. And when I get excited, I want to share that experience with other people.
That's great.
It's just like, hey, come fishing. And it's been fun being a scoutmaster because now I have all these younger boys that I was working with that they're older now.
Yeah.
And they'll still text me and send me pictures of the fish they catch.
Cool.
And then, and I think it's part of that, like you said, maybe watching these outdoor sports shows. When I see other people doing things, some people say they get jealous. And that's the issue with like this whole social media world. And it truly can create problems. I seem to, for some reason, I get inspired. And whether it's I'm jealous of the happiness they have and I want to go and do that, or I don't really know what it is, but I see somebody with a really nice fish from a river or something. I'm like, man, what does it take to get there? And I like the back end research of trying to accomplish that and truly putting in the work to make that same experience happen in my life. So
yeah, I'm with you. I want to go do that. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it yet, but I'll figure it out. Yeah.
That's right.
Good. So do you have any, you're pretty active. Do you have any favorite books or books you give as gifts?
I actually don't. It's interesting you asked that. Yeah. It's weird because I think reading when I was a kid, like the Island of the Blue Dolphins, and I think I mentioned like the Tom Sawyer Huck Finn, all these things created this life that I've always teased. I think I'll probably write a book when I'm older.
That makes sense.
Maybe when I physically can't do that. I tease a lot of people because I love reading. And I always would joke with my kids because my kids are so much smarter than me, have gone through school, done fantastic things, gone on to college. And I would always tease them growing up, like, man, why are you reading? Like, and my wife's like, what kind of parent are you? And it was kind of this family joke. Like, let's go do something fun. So I always tease, like, live a life worth writing about.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
The value of the books. I'm more of a person that buys a book to learn the skill to go dig an ice cave. And so I have these how-to books and survival books and things like that. I really cherish those, but more of a resource, not the entertainment, because again, I think I'm too much of a spaz to sit.
No, that makes sense. I get that. Yeah, I get that. My wife always, when we travel, she'll bring like 2 magazines. And she's always said, and this is now going 30 years, at some point, I hope you tire enough that I get to sit long enough to read a magazine. And bless her heart, she's put up with me for so long. And that's just the reality. It sounds like you guys have a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, come home to rest from vacation is what we've always done. It's like, no, it's like I always said, burn in the daylight. Let's go. There's stuff to do. So that's kind of life.
That's a good one. So how about your favorite piece of outdoor gear under $100?
A life straw. That's an easy answer. I'm kind of a weird prepper, and I first saw the life straw. I was fly fishing with a buddy, and we're in the middle of this river, and it was hot. And he leaned over and just started drinking through this weird thing out of the river. And I was so mad at him because at the time, I think I was like a germaphobe.
Right.
He's like, "Would you want to try it?" And I'm like, I wanted to try it so bad that I think I might have tried it. But the life straw is something that being prepared for disasters has always been a thing of mine. And having water, you don't live for very long without water.
That's
so you got your couple, your 3 days. It's like, your shelter, whatever, hypothermia. But if you're not hydrated, and I drink so much water every day, I just think everyone should have a life straw in their car, throw it in your dash, in your fishing gear or your climate, whatever. It is a bummer because in California it's such a drought. You're not always going to find water right now.
Well, we're seeing that here. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reality, something like that to purify water, I think they're $20. That is a no-brainer for me that I think everyone, and if you don't know what they are, I mean, check them out. It's just,
we'll link to that
I'm not even connected to them.
Yeah.
It's just,
that one's come up a lot. A lot of people have mentioned that. Yeah.
It's just kind of a necessity of having one of those things. I think I can have fun outside with a stick with a couple of my friends and my kids or whatever. Like we can find joy and stuff, but I want to be able to survive, and that life straw is something I think is really important.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. As we wrap up, is there anything else you want to say or ask of our listeners?
I appreciate the opportunity to be on here.
Thanks for coming
I just really think that, people connecting to the outside and the crazy world of what's going on and the worries about all the things, find something else to focus on. I mean, that's the reality that we try to do all the time. And it's important to be talking about current things and political stuff, and that's all great. But if you can tune that stuff out a little bit and focus on the world and nature and reasons to be together outside, I think it's kind of my salvation, and it's the way that we can find some sanity. And I think together we can get on and have a good life.
I agree with you. Yeah. And how can people follow up with you? You're probably all over the socials.
Yeah, I mean, it's social media. It's kind of funky. We're called Wish I Was Fishing.
Okay.
So I'm Mr. Wish I Was with a Z in the middle. So Mr. Wish I Was Fishing.
Gotcha.
My wife is Miss Wish I Was Fishing.
Nice.
Our sock brands, we have T-Box socks. That's SOX. We have Fish socks. Those are on social media. And you can find us. And definitely, if you see us, message us. You ever got questions, whether it's event related, if it's fishing related, family related. My wife said she's kind of like the guru of health. She looks like a Barbie and is like a total naturopath, amazing woman, and has just stayed active and kept up with the kids. And so she's just an amazing, healthy resource and is like all Miss Organic and awesome. So I think we balance. She's way more mellow and even killed than I am. And I think as a connection in the relationship, we balance each other out pretty well. So
sounds like a good mix.
Yeah, don't hesitate to message us or connect with us. And, we're always up to get outside and get after it and have some fun. So
perfect. Cool. When we say goodbye, don't hang up. I want to
no problem.
Pick your brain. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Chris. Thanks for coming on. And I hope to see you over here in Bishop sometime soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks, man. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's lots of fun.
You have a ton of fun, dude. I want to go hang out with you.
We're nons. I'm sitting under. So I built a shop underneath my house to make the socks, and I have like 5 heat presses. Some kids come over. We've got a cross country team that uses our house as their aid station. I know the coach. He actually plays disc golf with my son. Cool. I have all my tackle gear behind me, fishing rods lined up on the wall. We have disc golf baskets. So the kids that make socks practice putting while they're working.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of a crack up. So we
pretty
made
fun.
a little fun life of just trying to negotiate the nightmare that the world is kind of becoming. And
I hear you. I
try
hear
to
you.
find some salvation all of it.
Yeah, doing the same thing. I'm not getting out enough these days, but hopefully it's going to change soon.
What's your main activity that you do over there in Bishop?
Well, fish mostly. My knees are hammered from playing football. Okay. So they're just, a bunch of surgeries. So I still fish. So I can still hike in the mountains. I get out to, I like to fish in the backcountry a lot, and big photographer. So I go out and do that. I don't kind of do more physical weight lifting and stuff to keep my body, physically strong to do all the things, because I can't run. I can't do all that because, like I say, the knees are just wrecked. But there's so many things to do over here that you don't need to, be a Superman to do. You just go fishing, play a place to fish and hike and take beautiful photos. Fall colors are happening right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Good. Yeah.
What kind of workout do you do? Are you pretty serious about your workouts?
Yeah, I do a lot of, it's not a lot of weight, but it's a lot of weights. I probably have 15 or 20 different routines, from lunges and squats to curls and push-ups and those kind of things. So it's kind of that base, but just, it's not I don't have a big bench press or anything. It's just dumbbells and stuff. And,
our family's super serious about fitness. So I didn't even touch on it, but I got into the whole triathlon training thing, and then people would challenge it. As an announcer, they're like, "You ever ran a half marathon?" I'm like, "I'll do it next week." So I'd go and do that. And got so focused and kind of lost in it for fun for a while before golf. And then I've just taken a long time off, and I just stay active. But It's funny. I'm turning 49 October 19th, and I'm going to go from 49 to 50 and try to be as healthy as I can and get to my goal is like 9% body fat again. And
wow, good for you.
I have all these guru people that I've known forever in the paddle world that are like truly life coaches, fitness coaches. So I have access to like the smartest people, the most holistic, healthy people ever in the world.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you'll find show notes with links to everything we talked about and more. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or spread the word and tell a friend about the show. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week. And thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Rick Saez.